He's on time. He's on time. You know, I saw a ton of people in the YouTube chat. Again, so just to be clear, we're just continuing the earlier stream. I don't know why there are 3,000 people here at the start. I know that the news has been, you know, coming hot and fast lately. I just to be clear, it's not just a continuation of the previous stream. Okay, just a normal extra stream. Well, I saw a bunch of people saying I didn't think he'd do another stream, you know, and honestly, I didn't think I would either. But I'm trying to be a little bit better about it. Taking my work a little more seriously. What's up? The notif went out early? Nah. Have you checked the Torment Nexus on your way back here? I live in the Torment Nexus, buddy. Nice RL. Hell yeah. Double RL? Nope, just regular RL. Isn't that sweet? My goddamn American flag sweater. To show my support for the strike on Venezuela. No, I'm kidding. Or am I? More people waiting because it's a non-work hours time. That's not how it normally is. That's not how it normally is. Look, I'm not complaining, okay? I'm not complaining. I'll take it. I went to a comedy club. I went to see, I watch 90 Day Fiancé, sometimes with my friends. I went to see a comedy show in Cap Hill with Sarper, the big muscly Turkish guy. And, oh man, it was like a different world. It was like 2 straight hours of wife bad jokes, man. It was crazy. I was peering onto the other side of the fence. I was looking through the veil at what like heterosexual people like. It was very heterosexual. Why would anyone watch 90 Day Fiancé? I watch it for the same reason as anyone, right? You watch it to feel better than the people on the show. Like you're with 5 friends, and then a new character, a new person is introduced, and everyone goes, I think they're weird looking. And then that's like 30 minutes at least of comedic material, you know? Wouldn't that just make me sad for the people on the show? Sometimes, but a lot of them really do deserve the ire, I think, you know? Look, it's up to you, okay? It's fine. It's fine. To be fair, have you ever had a wife? I would never have a heterosexual wife. Man, I was watching that stand-up and I was thinking, again, thank fucking God, I am not straight. I don't have to be, you know, committed to this. I thought you hate slop? No, I hate slopification. I think that slop can be fine in moderate proportions. Now, if the only thing you watch is 90 Day, I do think that's a real issue, you know? Like that, like, look, if you know, it's like playing mobile games, you know, like shitty mobile games. I don't think you're a bad person or whatever if you play them now and again. If it's the only thing you do, that might be an issue. So, of course, the more of reality that gets made into slop, the more this gets imbalanced, right? The balance is way off now. Just got lectured by my Brazilian parents about how we should be grateful Maduro got deported. Nice. Are they Bolsonarites? Vosh wife guy arc declined. No, no, no. You don't understand, okay? The best wife guys aren't straight. For one, the best wife guys are lesbians. They're crazy about each other, okay? Um, the wife guy the wife guy would never enjoy 2 hours of stand up where the whole joke is like men and women are innately different and women are evil, you know, henpecking control freaks in a marriage, right? That's not. This isn't white guy stuff at all. Not Adam's family material. How much the ticket cost? I don't want to talk about it. I covered my friends, okay? Gotta stay moisturized. Otherwise, you get wrinkly. Is that Vaseline? Who the fuck moisturizes their face with Vaseline? That's crazy. Can't escape twink death. I have literally never been a twink at any point in my life. All right. You've link for the press conference? No, we've actually got something more pressing to go over first. Bluefin tuna sells for record $3.2 million at year opening auction. Wow. That's quite the tuna. 535-pound bluefin tuna sold for a record 510 million yen at the first auction of 2026 at Tokyo's Toyosu Fish Market. Wow, wow, wow. Sure. Okay. Why, though? Thing Japan. Nah, we got to look at this. Comments from the president on Air Force One.
The helicopters were...
What watching that was like.
Go ahead.
Oh, hi, Mr. President. Have you spoken with any of the U.S. service members who were injured during that operation in Venezuela?
Yes, we have calls into them.
That goddamn audio.
They're all in good shape.
Can you detail what watching that was like when all this played out in Venezuela and what Maduro was doing that moment?
Well, I knew the possible danger. I mean, it was a very dangerous operation. It was amazing that we had a few injured, but all are in good shape right now.
You know what? I think this audio is bad enough that I might just have to rely on the highlights. We might just have to go to the highlights. ASIN. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Basically, I saw like 1 or 2 clips from this, and it seems really bad.
Venezuela right now. Have you spoken to the newly sworn-in president there, Rodriguez? And what are your thoughts on the entire situation? You said the U.S. would run Venezuela.
We're dealing with the people. We're dealing with the people that just got sworn in. And don't ask me who's in charge, because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge.
Have you...
So for one, that's like a straight up confirmation of what I said earlier, right? Like we made a deal with the generals to get Maduro out. Donald Trump said we're in charge because that's what he was told. Kanye moment? Yeah. I'm not going to tell you the nation that's in charge of Venezuela. It's the American nation.
Spoken with her?
We're in charge.
Have you spoken with her?
No, I haven't, but other people have.
Do you want to?
I haven't, but other people have. It's like so transparent. Marco Rubio set this up. Marco Rubio talked with, or at least, you know, envoys of the State Department, reached out and made contact with the higher ups in Venezuela. Like this whole thing was facilitated, you know? Nothing is going to change over there. Jesus Christ. If anything, it's going to get worse because now they've been made more subservient to American political interests, but not in a way that would, like, influence their democracy. Do you think he even knew about this? I would not be surprised if he was missing, like, huge details on the operation.
And the oil companies are ready to go. They're going to go in. They're going to rebuild the infrastructure. You know, we built it to start off with many years ago. They took it away. You can't do that. You can't do that with me. They did it with other presidents.
Did this mean literally the only thing that's different is that Maduro's gone? Yeah, it kind of seems like it. It seems like the only difference in Venezuela from the perspective of a Venezuelan is that Maduro is gone. So I guess the question is, like, do you think that what's her name? Velasquez. What's her first name? Here, I think it was here. Not the tuna. Delcy Rodriguez, not Velasquez, sorry. Delcy Rodriguez, will she do a better job of like controlling the worst impulses of the of the underlings? I have no idea. I don't know enough about her. Also, I can't predict the future.
They're going to be taken very good care of. Yes, ma'am.
Spoken with the oil companies about
Yes.
going into Venezuela?
I have.
Which ones? Have you received any commitments?
All of them, basically.
Any commitments from the oil companies?
They want to go in so badly.
Jesus Christ.
Speak with them before the
after, and they want to go in, and they're going to do a great job for the people of Venezuela. And they're going
So this is the president saying that he briefed the oil companies on the top secret military operation that he didn't tell Congress about. This is why Marco Rubio didn't fill him in on all the details. He literally cannot shut the fuck up.
to represent us well.
They're going to represent us well.
Speak with them before the operation took place.
Yes.
Did you maybe tip them off about
Before and after, and they want to go in, and they're going to do a great job for the people of Venezuela, and they're going to represent us well. Because of tariffs.
There was a time.
Without tariffs, we wouldn't have 10 cents being invested.
There was a time back in 2016, and I remember your RNC speech, and you were saying that regime change and nation building.
Forgive me if you've all already seen this. Oil execs don't want anything to do with Venezuela. Yeah, we've talked about this a lot. I'm sure anyone who's watching right now has seen me say this, but yeah, oil companies do not want to work in Venezuela. Setting up oil extraction infrastructure is expensive. The oil down there needs a lot of refinement in order to be useful. And right now, the price of oil is so low internationally. It's at like $52 a barrel. The price of oil is so low that there's no profit to be made. There would be more of a profit to be made in just setting up shop in America, just putting down more oil rigs in America, and they're not.
When you were speaking at the RNC back in 2016, you were criticizing regime change and nation building, the U.S. being involved in that. It seems obviously that your stance has changed on that. What led to that? And is the U.S. nation building now? Is that
This isn't a country that's on the other side of the world. This isn't a country like where you have to travel 24 hours in an airplane. This is Venezuela. It's in our area. The Don Road Doctrine.
So is that what you would say?
The Monroe Doctrine. It's so clear he's been getting his pointers on this from Rubio. Like he even knows what the Monroe Doctrine is.
That we're in the business of nation building?
No, we're in the business of having countries around us that are viable and successful, and where the oil is allowed to freely come out because that's good. It gets the prices down. That's good for our country. Because
Christ. Apparently, the whole operation was leaked ahead of time to the press as well. Yep, and the press didn't report on it, which means that the administration not only leaked the information, but also prompted oil companies beforehand to let them know we were going to do a regime change, and the press still didn't go public with it. Why did we bomb Caracas? Because we clearly had a deal. Because it would not make us look good if it was obvious that we were only able to take Maduro because his underlings had offered him up. Like we needed to make it look like we took him against the will of the Venezuelan government. We don't want to make it public that the people who are really in charge in Venezuela are the same narco criminals, the same drug dealers and warlords, the same people running the police and military. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that we essentially just cut a deal. It's the same reason Bukele over in El Salvador doesn't like it being talked about publicly that he made deals with all the major gangs in that country, you know? Like the way he was able to really quickly clean up gang crime was by doing a lot of illicit backroom dealing. But he doesn't want that acknowledged, of course, because that makes him look weaker than the narrative that he just directly confronted those gangs.
viable and successful, and where the oil is allowed to freely come out because that's good. It gets the prices down. That's good for our country. Now, we have a very sick neighbor. It's not a neighbor, but it's close to a neighbor, and that's Venezuela. It's very sick. Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long.
He's not doing it very long. He has cocaine mills and cocaine factories. He's not going to be doing it very long.
So there will be an operation by the U.S. and
It sounds good to me. Yeah. You know why?
Yeah, the cocaine factories. Tommy Hort. I just popped in. What's going on? We're looking at comments made by Trump on Air Force One earlier today, and so far we have him saying he wants to conduct a similar operation in Colombia. This really does escape any form of political commentary. Yeah. Keep in mind the Colombian government, for all the problems in Colombia, the Colombian government is a democracy and its leader's pretty good. Its leader is also a democratic socialist, so obviously, you know, not a big fan mutually. Yes, it is also a U.S. ally.
Trying to protect him.
Though there's been protesters killed in Iran, you said we were locked and loaded, ready to go. What is the line there for when the U.S. is going to get involved in those protests?
We'll take a look. We're watching it very closely. If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States.
Is that something?
Trying to protect him.
We talked about a drug.
Hello, Lindsey Graham. How interesting that while Donald Trump is doing neocon shit, he is now suddenly in the company of the very unpopular Lindsey Graham, a neocon, who's crowing about all of the regime change we're doing. How interesting.
Caliphate in our backyard. You know, we had Venezuela, we have Cuba, we have Colombia in our backyard. And these three countries have been condemned ever since I've been in politics. It is. Could have done it, and as to this commander-in-chief, he did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco.
It's insane. Like, even at the height of our Cold War meddling in Latin America, we did not have senators going up to the press and saying, yeah, any one of these days, we're just going to kill them. Just gonna wake up one day and there's going to be a good old boy running Cuba and not one of them commies.
Terrorist dictators killing Americans. This is a big frigging day. And everybody in the world is thinking differently than they were just a few days ago because of what you did.
That's true. So far, the international community is confirming the suspicions of Marco Rubio and other Trump officials that there are no consequences to doing this kind of shit. Keep in mind, like, people love to talk down on the United States from Europe or whatever. Keep in mind the EU has yet to do fucking anything about us. We've threatened to attack and invade, like, 15 different allies, including a member of the EU, by the way, Greenland, Denmark, and they are not doing anything. Not even condemning, mind you. Like, individual leaders might say, this makes our tummy hurt, but like, they're not doing anything. The EU trading bloc is massive. If they wanted, they could use reciprocal tariffs to bring us to our knees. And the American people would be very unhappy. But so far, every country just bends the knee. And you know why? Because the people that run the world are corporations. Corporatists. The bourgeois run the world. And they don't give a fuck what Trump is doing. As far as they're concerned, the only thing that matters is the profits they bring in through their enterprise. The reason the leaders in Europe can't, you know, amass these tariffs to condemn Trump or condemn the United States or whatever is because at the end of the day, it's not them who makes that call. It's the corporations that run the country. And they don't want that because it would get in the way of their business. That's it. Only America gets to play silly with it. And that's because we're the center of international commerce. We're the only country where there is such a disproportionate amount of political and capital influence that we get to ride those fluctuations. But nobody in Europe, no country in Europe, at least not enough of them, right, are willing to make that wave. Even countries that have been pretty based on, like, say, Palestine, like Spain and Ireland, they're not, like, really doing anything, you know?
By the way, you know, you mentioned something that's interesting. Lindsay mentioned bin Laden. Do you know, I wrote about bin Laden 1 year before the attack on the World Trade Center. And I said, you got to go after bin Laden. It was in my book. And very few people want to say that, but it was in my book. You know that, I think. You've actually talked about it. But if they would have listened to me, they would have taken out bin Laden, and you wouldn't have had the World Trade Center tragedy.
Yeah, this is certainly going.
Did you know that? I predicted bin Laden.
I learned something every day.
No, but did you hear that?
Well, I didn't know. I just heard it right now.
No, I wrote a book. It was 1 year before the attack that the book came out, and it talked about, there's a whole page, a whole section dedicated to a guy named bin Laden who's a bad guy who you have to take out.
So, I'll get the book. But right after the election, he...
Jesus Christ.
Think of that. And now we're going to stop them by land, too. The land is easy. We had to do the sea before we did the land because it just works out.
Yeah, you were just talking about the land, but it sounded like you laid
And by
out.
the way, you have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together because they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. We'd love Mexico to do it. They're capable of doing it. But unfortunately, the cartels are very strong in Mexico.
I remember one time you actually, speaking of Mexico, I asked you about Claudia Sheinbaum, and you told me at one point you had offered to send U.S. troops into
Sure, I
Mexico
did.
to combat drug trafficking there. Is that something you have
I
spoken
like
to her
Claudia.
about?
I think she's a terrific person. I would say every single time I talk to her, I offered to send troops.
And she's just not willing?
The fucking state media fucking reporters, man. She's just not willing. What, dude? What did you offered to invade her country and she didn't even say yes? What the fuck? Stupid bitch. I hate. Marco Rubio will be this generation's Kissinger. No, the fuck he won't. Kissinger was smart. Evil, but smart. No, Marco Rubio is mentally unexceptional. He's competent, which is more than can be said about most of the people in this administration, but he's not particularly bright.
Concerned. She's a little afraid. The cartels are running Mexico. Whether you like it or not, it's not nice to say, but the cartels are running Mexico.
Yes,
Think of that. And now we're going to stop them by land, too. The land is easy. We had to do the sea before we did the...
I think it's better to say there are no consequences for Trump doing this if the country in question is a pariah. Yeah, which means they could do it to Cuba. Like, I think it is almost guaranteed that we make a run on Cuba at some point within the next year. That being said, I also do not think it's an impossibility that we take action against Mexico, Colombia, or Greenland. I really don't think... Like, okay, realistically, if America sends a carrier fleet out to the capital of Greenland, the port town, I don't know the name, and sends troops in and says, you know, we're here to protect you, this is ours now, or whatever, what do you think the EU is going to do? Nook? Gotcha. What do you think the EU is going to do? We're doing appeasement bullshit again, man. Trump's annexing the Sudetenland, and Europe is like, this isn't going to get too spicy, right?
The land because it just works out.
Yeah, you were just talking about the land, but it sounded like you... Yeah, speaking of those U.S. troops, I mean, one thing that Americans and a lot of people are wondering, you just sounded like you weighed out another strike, another land strike, at least in Venezuela. You sound like you weighed that out. But
No, we haven't. We didn't need it. We were prepared to do a second strike if we needed. We're totally prepared.
But that's off
We're
the
still
table.
prepared.
That's off the table now.
No, it's not. If they don't behave, we will do a second strike.
The question is that that's off the table now.
No, it's not. If they don't behave, we will do a second strike.
The question is that the American troops, are they going to be on the ground? They're doing any kind of peacekeeping? I think Americans are very...
It depends on what happens. It depends a little bit on the new administration, if you want to call it
So
that.
if you see that pushback from Rodriguez and ultimately...
We'll look at her press conference shortly.
I think that,
She called
frankly,
it...
well, you know, you hear a different person than I hear.
Really? So you have spoken with her?
We talked to them, yeah.
Oh, you did speak.
They've been very good.
That's off the table now.
No, it's not. If they don't behave...
I think it's important to remember the chilling effect this has in the next election cycle. Countries will not vote left out of fear. I mean, not if nobody does anything about anything, you know? The international community could crush America economically in no time if they wanted to. Like, seriously, we're such a treat the right nation. We're so dependent on our cheap tricks, our cheap snacks. But they're not doing it. China could do it. But China's fucking pussy shit. They're big pussies.
I think Americans are very...
It depends on what happens. It depends a little bit on the new administration, if you want to call it
So
that.
if you see that pushback from Rodriguez and ultimately...
Well, I don't think there was pushback. I think that,
She called
frankly,
it...
well, you know, you hear a different person than I hear.
Really? So you have spoken with her?
We talked to them, yeah.
Oh, you did speak.
They've been very good.
Because she called it kidnapping of Maduro.
It's all right. It's not a bad term. Go ahead.
Doing any kind of...
It's not a bad term.
Go ahead.
Now, are you going to demand that Delcy Rodriguez let opposition figures return or free any political prisoners?
We haven't gotten to that yet. Right now, what we want to do is fix up the oil, fix up the country, bring the country back, and then have elections.
Fucking insane. Like, just, it boggles the mind. Fucking insane. Hey, are you going to work on the extradition of the American political prisoners that have been held for the past couple of months? You know, the innocent people that Maduro's regime locked up in an effort to get leverage against us? Nah, we're mostly just focused on the oil.
Now, is it fair?
We better bring the country back, otherwise you're just gonna have a mess that's so bad. It was really bad. It's gonna get a lot worse unless we go in and fix it.
Is the U.S. going to?
It's just fucking unbelievable. It like no president at any point, not just a president, like even African warlords would shy away from language this. Like seriously, you look at a speech from like Mugabe or whatever in Zimbabwe. Look at him. He was a fucking lunatic, but his speeches were way the fuck more measured than this. It's insane.
You
We've actually been asked to do it.
you had Putin and on the phone, of course, with Zelensky at normal.
It's because it would get you killed by a subordinate. It's only possible to do this in a country like America. That's true. That's the big blessing that Trump gets. That's the reason we're in a democracy. It's the reason why, like, maybe approval rating matters less here. Like, if you're very unpopular in a democratic country, people are like, can't wait to vote against you next election. If you're very unpopular in a, you know, war-torn, lawless country, then somebody in your cabinet will just shoot you in your sleep and take your place the next day. It's a different system.
Yeah.
You told me that
Numerous times.
You told me that your New Year's resolution was peace on earth. Do you think that 2026, if you could set a deadline of when the Russia-Ukraine war...
I don't do deadlines, but I would say that, you know, like as an example, Thailand and Cambodia.
Well,
I was very proud of that. Wait a minute. And they started up again and they got it solved.
Where does that
I give myself 1/4 of a point for that. So now I'm 8 1/4 points because they started up Thailand and Cambodia, and now it's okay.
So where does it actually stand between Russia
I think
and
we'll have a
Ukraine
deal
right now?
at some point, hopefully in the not too distant. So I don't know if you saw the numbers just came out. 30,000 soldiers were killed this current month.
And there was that in
30,000. 27,000 the month before.
You and Senator Ray discussed additional Russia sanctions.
Please God, list the 8. None of these journalists will. They never, ever, ever will, because they're huge pussies, and all they care about is having access to Trump. All journalists love Trump because they get to talk to him easily. As long as they toe the line, they get to have as many conversations with him as they want. It means they always have a job, you know? That's it. That's it. It's just money to them. They hate you. They hate life.
It's a disaster. We got to fix the country fast.
President Trump, are there going to be any more? You said the oil companies are going there. Are there any other companies that you've talked to about dealing with Venezuela? Maybe Mr. Lutnick could talk about that. Are there any other corporations, entities outside
Many
of oil?
outside of the oil business. Well, the oil business, yes, but outside, yes. Howard, do you want to
You have steel, you have minerals, right? All the critical minerals. They have a great mining history that's gone rusty. So steel, aluminum, minerals, I mean, this is all, it's a rich. It was once upon a time one of the great...
Who's this guy? Howard Lutnick. Just loot goblin? Yeah. All the material wealth extraction we can engage in. It's like new mercantilism, man.
And cultures of the world, and it was destroyed, and now President Trump is going to fix it and bring it back for the Venezuela.
But it's not easy. It's really gone bad.
Any rare earth?
But it's got potential. What?
Maybe any rare earth minerals?
They have rare earth, but everybody has rare earth. Rare earth is not rare. What's rare is the processing. We're doing processing plants all over. There's no such thing as rare earth. The rare earth is everywhere. What isn't everywhere is the processing of rare earth, and we have a lot of places going up right now.
One thing we haven't heard you specifically
Phenomenal. Okay. Is that the end of foreign policy? Here he is talking about Tim Walz, Somalis, Los Angeles canceling the Olympics, Portland. Huh.
What are your
The other,
short term, next 2 weeks, what do you need from Delcy Rodriguez? threatened
total access. We need total access. We need access to the oil and to other things in their country that allow us to rebuild their country.
What other things?
A lot of things. Roads that aren't built, bridges that are falling down. Yeah, bridges that are falling down, nobody can go anywhere.
Like the roads to the oil. Jesus Christ, man. It's the Raj. We're doing the Raj again. What do you mean America never did nothing for you? We built your bridges. Yeah, the bridges you built led directly to the oil fucking silos. This is so incredibly stupid. At least we don't have to, like, argue with liberals over whether or not we're doing authentic nation building. At least he's really straightforward about the fact that this is a looting scheme, you know? And all the entire MAGA movement literally overnight switched from no more foreign wars, no more occupation, America first, so on and so forth, to, actually, America first is when you vassalize every country in your hemisphere. Took no time at all.
And on Greenland, you know...
With Greenland now?
Yeah, on Greenland.
How did we come up to Greenland?
So, do you expect to take an action against Greenland?
Well, I don't want to talk about Greenland. Let's talk about Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine, and we'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months. Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days.
On Venezuela, we talked so much about energy.
By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
I think it's a big...
You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true. They thought that was a great move.
What would the justification be for a claim to Greenland? What would the justification?
Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it. And they know that.
I think there's some...
Right now, I really think that if we annexed Greenland, they would let us. You would get, like, Twitter posts from van der Leyen saying, we are monitoring the situation. Iran would raise the red flag of we're not going to do anything. The Houthis would fire a rocket directly into the Red Sea, hitting nothing. There's just there are no mechanisms to hold America accountable. What's Greenland going to do? Throw some snowball? I mean, it's not a matter of what Greenland could do. Like, if in a just, reasonable world, if we annexed Greenland, the entire European Union, along with Latin America and Canada and a bunch of other allied countries, would immediately fucking embargo us. Like, that makes total fucking sense to me. I don't know. Like, if anything, that's like the moderate solution. Not tariffs, an embargo. Like, in a normal world, that's a normal thing to do. What would even be the point of taking Greenland? Part of it is an aura farming thing. A lot of it is the fact that there are the powers that be want, like, direct control over and access to the Arctic Circle, right? Like, having Greenland would give us a strategic kind of position in a part of the world that has largely historically been of interest to Russia, because of course Russia is like half of the Arctic Circle. We already have Alaska. Yeah, well, then we'd have more, you know? That's it. We just have more. A lot of it also is that it's part of the, like, regional power theory, right? Like, we don't want allies. The Trump administration does not want allies. It's ours or it's not, from their perspective. Like, you know, why did Adolf Hitler annex Austria when they were already basically allied, right? Like, they could have, like, do you think Austria wouldn't have gone along with what Hitler wanted anyway, even without the annexation? That's the point. You don't want an ally. They don't want other people across the table to deal with. It's one state. They want one state, or like a vassalized state, basically, you know. Do you think there's a genuine chance he goes after Canada? No, I think the Canada thing is mostly trolling. Though, honestly, at this point, if we did invade Canada, it seems like the EU would issue a strong letter of condemnation. But Greenland is a real possibility.
I think there's some confusion
The
about
operation in Venezuela will affect your relationship with Xi Jinping and China.
No, I don't think so. I have a very good relationship. We have the power of tariffs, and he has other powers on us. You know?
Are you still planning to travel to see him in April?
Yeah, I'll be going in April.
I think there's some confusion.
Odds are pretty good that Taiwan is cooked, by the way. With all this regional power shit that's been going on, the likelihood that Trump or Marco Rubio or whoever else has basically said, you need to let us have this, we'll let you have Taiwan, it's pretty high. I'm not joking. Like, if you live in Taiwan, I would be more sensitive to perceived signs of impending invasion in the coming, like, year or two. He just sold Taiwan 11 billion in defense equipment. It doesn't really matter. Like, he's not going to stop. For one, if he stopped pre-existing arm deals, that would really give the game away. But also, like, selling them arms gives us money. It gives our defense, you know, it adds to our coffers. It doesn't matter, right? There is no amount of equipment we could give Taiwan that would stop China except for nuclear weapons. That's it. They've been posturing for almost 80 years. Please don't fearmonger. I'm not fear-mongering. I know they've been posturing for a while. The reason they've been posturing is because they want to do it. And if they were ever going to do it, Trump is the president they would want in power. Basically, any other president, past or future, if China invaded Taiwan, our ships would be there. Any other president. You go back, you go to Biden, Obama, Bush, Clinton. If China invaded Taiwan, we would have carrier fleets out there by the shore. They would have to fight us too. And that's not great for China. They don't want that smoke. Right now, with Trump in position, this is the best shot they're ever going to get. Not saying that's a guarantee. I'm just saying, like, and the fact that the logic of the Trump administration keeps on being, this is our hemisphere. Okay, whose hemisphere is Taiwan in? They've said it about Ukraine too. Whose hemisphere is Ukraine in? I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm just saying, like, we wouldn't even be able to save Taiwan even if we fought them. Maybe not. Like, it would be tough to compete with China's manufacturing abilities, but we'd have the help of the world, and also we've got, like, cool ships. Also, we're both nuclear powers, so, you know, whatever. So would every ally of Taiwan become an ally of China? I'm not sure what you mean. If China invaded and annexed Taiwan, I'm sure that there would be a wide range of responses. Some countries would just go, one China, like they always have, right? Some countries would, like, decry it, you know, fucking censure China or put restrictions on them or whatever else. Altogether, though, no country can stop them but us. Japan would probably freak the fuck out, yeah.
I think there's some confusion from Americans and maybe the community in the world when it comes to what you said about Rodriguez earlier today in a phone interview. You said that she would face the same fate, if not worse.
Does this mean Ukraine's likely fucked? No, because Ukraine's getting backup from Europe, and that's the only reason why. The European Union is not subscribing to our new obsession with Mearsheimer-esque realpolitik, so they're actually A-okay with defending Ukraine. If it was entirely up to us, Ukraine would probably be fucked, yeah. But Taiwan is entirely up to us. Like, we're the only country that could stop China from invading Taiwan. Japan doesn't have a military capable of stopping China, nor would they want to, and neither does Korea. So, it's, yeah. Europe, on the other hand, is more than capable of, like, bolstering Ukraine to the point that they can fight off Russia. Why doesn't the EU not also supply Taiwan? Not their game. Also, totally different situation. For one, China is way stronger than Russia. For two, an invasion of Taiwan wouldn't be like Ukraine. With Ukraine, it's this grinding, like, slow-moving wall of artillery and personnel, but Taiwan's a little island, and China is massive, so it wouldn't be like a World War I-esque stalemate. So in order to supply them, the European Union, nations would have to send arms halfway around the world to land on an island. China could easily just blockade Taiwan, too. Like, if China didn't want arms getting into Taiwan, all they would have to do is starve them out. They could intercept it. You can't really do that with Ukraine. Ukraine shares a border with Poland, and there's nothing Russia can do to Poland without invoking Article 5, so it would be a shit show. Oh, for sure. I'm not saying it'd be... Listen, my only point here is that if you live in Taiwan, you should be flop sweating a little bit. That's it. I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm just saying, like, if China was ever going to act on the, like, literal more than half century of posturing that they've engaged in, this is the time. There will be no better time.
But it sounds like you're talking to her on the phone and wanting to work with her.
My people are just the same thing.
Are considering her in power. Can you just clarify where you stand on Delcy Rodriguez right now being in
I don't have to tell you. I just say that she will face a situation probably worse than Maduro, because Maduro gave up immediately.
So she could also
he raised his hand, he gave up.
Maduro gave up, as in he wasn't captured, like organically. He was sold out.
And he did the right thing, but he gave up. So we were so effective, and it was so fast and violent. It was very violent, but we were so effective. He raised his hands, he gave up.
What was the most violent moment during...
I don't want to tell you.
God, I fucking hate this country. You guys really have no idea. It's just...
There were some bad moments, but there were some very violent moments. I don't want to tell you.
Did you get a briefing at all of it?
In April.
Here's the story for me. He could be in Turkey today, but he's in New York. So if you tell people in Cuba, you need to stop being a communist dictatorship threatening America, you should go somewhere else. You better take the offer. Maduro has nobody to blame but himself. He gave him a way out. He chose to defy Trump and the U.S. military, and his ass...
He's so fucking excited, dude. Lindsey Graham's been waiting for something like this for his entire goddamn career. He's so excited.
In jail where he deserves to be, and every president has said the same thing, but he didn't about it.
I like how no journalist is even mentioning to him that he's contradicting his anti-war president messaging. Yeah, it's the same, like, Habsburg jaw, water brain, incest baby shit that's happening with politics, as in the media, In a dictatorship, like, say, for example, in Mao's China, or like Stalin's Russia or whatever, the state reporters, like the state media whose job it is to produce propaganda, had to do a good job. There were stakes and measures of competence. In Nazi Germany, right? Like, broadcasters, propagandists, they couldn't just do whatever or phone it in. You know what would happen if they phoned it in? They would be shot. There were high standards for competence. Now, that's not to say they were competent, only that they were held to standards, or at least that there was an expectation that people tried. But in this country, nobody cares and nobody tries. Our government can do unspeakably evil shit, but also it's incredibly bad at doing it. Our reporters are complicit like pawns of the state, but they're really bad at doing it. There's no effort being put in, but there's also no effort being put in the countermeasure. The Democrats are incapable of doing anything too. Everyone's incompetent. Nobody here is locked in. Like, the reporters aren't even capable of, like, puffing up Trump very well. This woman's job is to puff up Trump, okay? That's it. That's the only reason that she's here. And as long as she does that, she gets to keep coming back and speaking to him over and over again. Notice how, like, 4 times in this interview she said, remember this previous thing we said? She keeps saying that. She wants to keep in good with him. She's the only one he's fucking talking to. There are other reporters here, but she's the one who sucks his dick the best, so she gets to be up front. She gets to be the one who gets all the quotes. Yeah, she's a fucking fluffer, exactly. But her only job here is to flatter Trump. She doesn't have to do a good job. So, like, me puffing up the violent colonialist dictator. What was the most violent thing you saw? What was, like, the coolest? Fucking what? I don't think I don't think Hitler would have liked that question either. I'm not going to lie. Not because he didn't like violence, but it would have been like, what the fuck are you talking? We're supposed to be pretending that we're doing this for like the glory of the German state or whatever. What do you mean? You know what I mean? Like what was the most violent moment in Poland? What are you or in Poland or in France or whatever? What are you talking about? It's just weird. You know what I'm talking about? Guy asking Edie, I mean, this question and getting the weird champ look. Yeah, guy like earnestly first day on the job of being a state reporter asking Saddam Hussein like how based and epic it was to gas the Kurds, and Saddam just gives him the look and he gets sent to a torture dungeon to be like brutally shaved to death or whatever. What are you doing? Day one of propaganda school.
Here's the story for
You know, one of the things that is happening, and I think you see it all the time, Howard, you've seen it, that Cuba is ready to fall. You know?
Yes.
Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold out. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And
didn't a Western tanky reporter do this to Pol Pot, and then Pol Pot had him murdered in his hotel room? Yes, I had actually forgotten about that. Super fucking funny. James Alexander Malcolm Caldwell, murdered a few hours after meeting Pol Pot in Cambodia. And his academic work prior to meeting Pol Pot was basically talking about how based and red-pilled the Khmer Rouge was. And then... such a funny historical tidbit, you know? Caldwell was a member, along with Elizabeth Becker and Richard Dudman, of one of the few groups of Western journalists and writers invited to visit Cambodia since the Khmer Rouge took power in 1975. The three visitors were given a highly structured tour in the country. We traveled in a bubble, wrote Becker. No one was allowed to freely speak to me. On the 22nd of December, Caldwell had a private audience with Pol Pot, the leader of Cambodia. After the meeting, he came back to the guest house in Phnom Penh, where the three were staying in a mood described by Becker as euphoric. At about 11 p.m. that night, Becker was awakened by the sound of gunfire. She stepped out of her bedroom and saw a heavily armed Cambodian man who pointed a pistol at her. She ran back into her room and heard people moving and more gunshots. An hour later, a Cambodian came to her bedroom door and told her Caldwell was dead. He had been shot in the chest. And I think the narrative here, a little bit, was that he actually glazed Pol Pot too much. The Khmer Rouge conducted an internal inquiry, which found one of the guards present, quote, had been having an unhappy love affair and had gone on a shooting spree before killing himself. Yeah, right. 4 of the guards at the guest house were arrested. 2 of them confessed under torture that the killers were subversives attempting to undermine the Khmer Rouge regime, and Caldwell was killed, quote, to prevent the party from gathering friends in the world. Caldwell's brother thought that his brother had discovered the truth about the Pol Pot regime, but dared not admit this to either Becker or Dudman. However, journalist Andrew Anthony wrote this seems unlikely, who met the translator President Pol at Caldwell's meeting, said, who remembered a very pleasant exchange conducted in the spirit of enthusiastic agreement. So yeah, the only rational explanation we have for this one, yeah, he got kirked for being too much of a sycophant to Pol Pot. Like, Pol Pot sniffed this out. He was like, I don't like you. You're kind of a brown noser, you know? Had his ass killed. Crazy. Sorry, I don't know how we got on this. It's just really, really funny.
We have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
Marco Rubio, the go-to... The go-to, and you were just talking about Cuba and what could come next there. Are you considering U.S. action in Cuba?
We're not. I think it's just going to fall. I don't think we need any action. It looks like it's going down. It's going down for the count. You ever watch a fight?
I have.
They go down for the count, and Cuba looks like it's going down. What do you think, Howard?
It's going down. They've lived off of Venezuela, right? The economics were all Venezuelan, right? That's why you said the protective force of Maduro was Cuban, right? They were Cuban guards. So they were just paying Cuba when that money stopped.
Don't hire them in the future.
Yeah, they weren't very good.
People from our country who were forced to come over They really didn't want, you know, they were from Cuba. People from different countries like to stay in those countries, whatever, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And people want to go back to Cuba, and they want to work in Cuba, but Cuba's going down for the count. Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay. Elon is great. He's a good guy. Talking about Russia and Ukraine. The voters that voted for me are thrilled. They say this is what they voted for. We're almost done. I'm sorry. I know, like this meeting was so bad that the highlights are basically of the same character as the it's like the whole thing was highlights. Because every report, like every question from the reporters was like, okay, do you want to do another regime change? And Trump's like, yeah, we'll do it. Sure. You know, everything's clippable.
Down the source of the problem. President Trump didn't wake up one day and say, hey, let's take Venezuela. He did what other people talked about, but didn't have the balls or the guts to do it. This is a good thing. This is not interventionism. This is making America safer. We're going to be more prosperous because of the business deals. There are going to be Americans alive today because he shut down a narco-terrorist state called Venezuela. This is a good thing, not a bad thing.
And the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild their system. They're going to spend billions of dollars, and they're going to take the oil out of the ground, and we're taking back what they stole. Remember, they stole our property. It was the greatest theft in the history of America. Nobody has ever stolen our property like they have. They took our oil away from us. They took the infrastructure away. And all that infrastructure is rotted.
There's a 0% chance of China invading Japan. I wouldn't worry about that.
And decayed. And the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild it. We're not going to spend very much money at all, if anything. But the oil companies are going to go, we're going to take our oil back. But we're going to also do things that, when you look at what he did, the drugs are terrible, but also terrible. He sent hundreds of thousands of people into our country that should not be here. And that means from prisons. That means Tren de Aragua, the gang, Tren de Aragua, that comes out of Maduro's country. He was very friendly with that gang. Well, they're having a hard time right now. You know, we had Tren de Aragua all over Washington, D.C., and they got the hell beat out of them.
Jesus Christ.
States. Thank you very much,
Mr. President,
everybody.
if you had to sum up Operation Absolute Resolve, would you say that it was about oil or it was about regime change?
It's about peace on earth.
How is it peace on earth?
Peace on earth. We got to have peace. It's our hemisphere. The Monroe Doctrine was very important when it was done, and other presidents...
He's got a new favorite word. He got affordability, but then he dropped that one because he realized he wasn't going to be able to do anything about it.
A lot of them. They lost sight of it. I didn't. I didn't lose sight. But it really is. It's peace on earth. Thank you very much.
The Don Rowe Doctrine. Did we do it? That was all the... We're almost done.
I don't think it's appropriate to talk to the press about it. You'll find out.
When it comes to him in court tomorrow, I mean, what's the end game here with Maduro? Does he just rot in a
We're just going
U.S.
to go through a
prison?
slog of a trial. The judge is very respected, Judge Hellerstein. He's a highly respected judge. We'll see how we do. The case is, it's infallible. People are so happy with what we've done. You know, you go down to Miami, you go down to a lot of places, and they're all dancing in the streets of this country.
Miami. Well, he's not wrong there. Okay, we did it. We did it. We did it. Please, God. Okay, yeah. Jesus fucking Christ. Well, look forward to the next few weeks of this. Just every time Trump is in front of a camera, a reporter incredulously asking him, do you really want to do more regime changes? And him being like, yeah, of course. I mean, we'll fucking see. We'll see. We'll fucking see if it's going to be Colombia or Mexico or Greenland. But I really think that Cuba's up on the chopping block, man. Imagine if Maduro gets off. That'd be so fucking funny, man. Yeah. Jesus Christ. He really does want to invade absolutely everyone. Did you see the post from Latin American and Spanish people talking shit? Shit-talking Venezuelan immigrants being happy about this and accusing them of voting for parties in the country they immigrate to? No, I didn't see this general discourse. I was out today. But I'm sure it exists, you know? What can we do about this as citizens? Are we fucked? What do you mean as American citizens? Nothing. As citizens of other countries? Nothing. Welcome to Earth. I'm sorry. I'm out of lip balm. 1 second. "2010 ass meme. You think Independence Day came out in 2010? "0% chance of China invading Japan based on what? Why would they do that? That'd be insane. I don't like because there's no reason for them to do that, and there's every reason for them to not do that. Japan is a prosperous, wealthy country that could, if needed, be marshal like a considerable defense, both domestically and also from other powers. Japan's on good terms with basically every country, so it's not like they're a pariah, right? Like Taiwan exists in a kind of, you know, legal gray area to a lot of countries with the whole one China policy thing, but you know, Japan doesn't. It would be, Japan's also like pretty tough to invade, you know. It's a very tall, skinny island. It's large enough that you can't really blockade it. There's not enough ships. Their equipment is pretty modern, you know. I don't think it's happening. Yeah, the Mongols tried and they lost. Yeah, also like what invade, yeah, true. That's also true. Like invade Japan for what? Their resources? They don't have any. They've got like bamboo or something. And the sacred wind. And the sacred wind. Invade Japan, Pog. True. Fucking true. Do you think Haiti's on the list of places to invade? Who the fuck would want to run Haiti? What do we want to import from them? Human misery? Poverty? What do we want from them? Chaos? They're unlucky, man. We want to understand why they were cursed by God so we don't make their mistakes. God really likes slavery. It's fucked up. All right, there we go.
Developing this morning, a Venezuelan court has now directed Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez to assume the powers and duties of acting president. This comes after longtime leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife were captured by U.S. military forces after early Saturday morning strikes in Caracas. They are now in the United States to face criminal charges.
We have local 10's Trent Kelly in the newsroom with the details on what could happen next. Trent.
Well, Alexis, Rodriguez called Maduro's...
The fuck is this setup? It's literally the exact same kidnap and puppet play they did to Haiti. Yeah, but that shit didn't work.
Tension, a, quote, kidnapping, and demanded his release, adding that Maduro is, quote, the sole president of Venezuela. And that appears to contradict a statement made by President Donald Trump, who said Rodriguez was willing to work with the U.S.
New images showing Nicolas Maduro.
What the fuck? Why is this all over the place? I wanted the goddamn press conference.
Called the U.S. operation barbaric.
Único presidente de Venezuela.
Declaring Nicolas Maduro is the only president of Venezuela. Known to many in the country simply as Delcy.
Okay, this is not the press conference. What the fuck what are these tabs?
Venezuela's Supreme Court has ordered Vice President Delcy Rodriguez to assume the powers and duties of the acting president. The order was announced just last night after the court determined that Maduro can no longer exercise his functions as president. Rodriguez has demanded Maduro's release. As CNN's Paula Newt reports, she struck a defiant tone on her first day leading
Surprising.
Just hours after the dramatic extraction of her president by U.S. forces, Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez was the picture of defiance. Surrounded by regime loyalists, she called the U.S. operation barbaric, declaring Nicolas Maduro is the only president of Venezuela. Known to many in the country simply as Delcy, Rodriguez has been an influential and reliable regime enforcer for nearly 2 decades. She began in the government of Hugo Chavez, faithfully implementing the tenets of Chavismo, the nationalist populist movement that brought the Venezuelan...
This is so fucking Orientalist, man. The way they're talking about her. Like, no, she's a politician. Nobody would talk about her with this language if she was in a Western democracy. You know? Okay, regime enforcer, faithfully, defended the tenets of... Like, no one would talk this way. There are tons and tons of longtime American politicians who have been hardline ideologues. They do not get talked about this way.
An economy to its knees. When Chavez died in 2013, she remained an assertive voice within President Maduro's government. Uncompromising in her rhetoric, she vilified the Venezuelan opposition and frequently warned the country about the threat of foreign intervention.
Damn, she sure was cooking with that one.
Crucially, as energy minister, she also has been a steady hand in funneling Venezuela's dwindling energy revenues to the regime. Seen here last month with state workers, she says, "We have something to tell Mr. Trump. Venezuela doesn't owe the U.S. anything." And yet, Rodriguez has for many years been sanctioned by Canada, the EU, and the United States. CNN attempted to question her in 2016 after a CNN investigation uncovered a scheme to illegally sell Venezuelan passports out of the country's embassy in Iraq. Rodriguez, then the foreign minister, refused to comment to CNN on every occasion. In keeping with her political pedigree, Rodriguez has a less than subtle message for the Trump administration as she demanded Maduro's release.
In keeping with her political pedigree. Oh, you illegally kidnapped her president after bombing the Capitol and killing 80 people. In keeping with her pedigree, she didn't like it. God, our media's fucking slime. This is why it's so important to watch mainstream media. It's to hate them. It's to despise that. You have to hate them. These people are so fucking evil. They're demons. You have to hate them. You have to learn to recognize how they talk and why they talk, because this is why the needles shift the way they do, you know?
Involvement in any future transition in Venezuela will be challenging. Paula Newton, CNN.
Joining me now from Oxfordshire is Vanessa Neumann, a Venezuelan-American diplomat, business owner, author and political theorist. Vanessa, great to see you again. It's been a while since you and I have spoken. I know it's been a moment...
Don't trust you, not even a little bit. What's your full name?
Paula, diplomat, business owner. Joining me now from Oxfordshire is Vanessa Neumann, a Venezuelan...
Vanessa Neumann. Probably not spelling that correctly. Let's see. A Venezuelan-American diplomat, business owner, author, and political theorist, president and founder of Asymmetrica, a political risk research and strategic communications firm headquartered in New York City and Washington, D.C. Okay, so she's a federal agent. Gotcha. I wanted to know, like, obviously they're not going to have a regular Venezuelan on. They need to have, like, an operative of the deep state. I just wanted to see, like, what her pedigree was, if you will, you know? Least nationally compromised Venezuelan American.
American diplomat, business owner, author, and...
Oh my God, wait. During the 2019 Venezuelan presidential crisis, a plenary session of the Venezuelan National Assembly approved her appointment as ambassador for John Guaido. She was appointed ambassador and chief of mission for Venezuela to the Court of St. James in the United Kingdom. The administration of Nicolas Maduro does not recognize Guaido's diplomats. So she's not just a Fed. She was like the one of the agents of an attempted coup in Venezuela 7 years ago. Fantastic. Fantastic. Oh my fucking God. You have to hate the media, dude. You have to hate the media. You have to. Literally, every time they bring someone on, you Google their name, they are an agent of the deep state. They worship Moloch, they drink blood, they fuck kids. Every time. Every time. Every time.
Political theorist. Vanessa, great to see you again. It's been a while since you and I have spoken. I know it's been a moment of celebration for many Venezuelans.
Worship Moloch. What? No, I know I'm dipping into the sloppyism a little bit. It's just like, it's true. And also, they're so evil, man. Like, come on. There's no fucking excuse for this. There's no world in which the people responsible for these bookings do not know that they are only promoting one side of the story. I wish they would do it honestly. Like, if you had this woman on to speak, that's not necessarily bad. Just say, like, hey, to be clear, this woman is like an operative of the state and attempted a coup. She was literally one of the agents of a couing party in Venezuela in 2019. Like, I don't know, man. That's a pretty big fucking deal. But you know what they called her? They called her a business owner and an author. Oh, how sweet.
In and outside of the country, and also a moment of deep anxiety from the Venezuelans I've been speaking to inside the country. Just give us a sense of what you're feeling first and what the mood is from what you gather inside the country.
Indeed, and it's such a pleasure to be with you again. I've missed you. So the mood in Venezuela is one of concern right now, and confusion more than anything. So there are several things. One, everybody is delighted by the
what a weird accent, Venezuelan British,
by the photograph of Maduro, you know, handcuffed and with the blindfolds and the earmuffs on the Iwo Jima, heading back to the United States. It reminded me of the capture of Abimael Guzman, who later The Shining Path was put in a cage. It made him human. It took away the terror and all this fear that Venezuelans have had with these 18,000 political prisoners and extrajudicial killings and tortures. He seemed like a superhuman who could never be captured. And now we know he is human. He can be captured. People within the Maduro enclave can be captured, and we can one.
Holy fucking shit. You know what her doctoral dissertation was? When she received her PhD from Columbia University, objectively the most evil university in the world, just judging by the people who came from it. Her doctoral dissertation was titled, quote, Autonomy and Legitimacy of States, a Critical Approach to Foreign Intervention. That's not a joke. This is her whole life. From beginning to end, this is her entire life. And just everything. She lives it and breathes it. Regime change in Venezuela. It's all she is. Well, what are you supposed to do with this, man? I don't... This thesis establishes the ethical basis and parameters for intervention by examining what I define as the autonomy and legitimacy of states. In this analysis, I draw upon classic contract theory of government, among other theories, in order to engage in the current literature. The overall contention is that national sovereignty is a human right that is infringed by foreign intervention. However, sovereignty is a right only insofar as it is legitimate. When a government and/or a state has been deemed illegitimate, then intervention is permissible. This is her whole life. Literally, like, lives it, breathes it, that's it. It's just this. Using the exact same language here that people have been using for Maduro's rule over, you know, with regards to legitimacy. Chapter 4, subsection, the challenges presented by the Chavez government. Subsection, oil as the root of Venezuela's evils. Chapter 5, subsection, strategies for intervention. The proportionality and presentation of sanctions, carrot or stick, military action as a last resort, intervention by whom, unilateralism versus collective action, legitimate and autonomous sovereignty, political legitimacy and the responsibility to protect, procedural justice and foreign intervention, human rights interventions and their preemption. Sometimes I wish they made it a little harder. I'm starting to lose my sanity. Yeah, no kid. It really does. It's like it really is a fucking joke, man. It's like a quirky RPG where you fucking run into people whose entire lives are defined by some weird obsession that is also the key to defeating them or whatever. It's Jane's CIA. Her whole life, her whole job is just this. And CNN introduced her as a business owner and an author. I know most of the people watching this are on board with me on this. I know some people watching me right now, at least a couple hundred watching me right now, are more milquetoast liberals. And look, I'm not saying you have to be a socialist because we found out that the media really dishonestly presented this one woman and her opinions. I'm just saying, like, if you keep your eye out for this, it happens not only all the time, it happens more often than it doesn't happen. It happens so often. And if you pay attention to it, it really, really, really makes you start to either, like, feel crazy or doubt the ability for us to do anything, to examine the world, to arrive at the truth of things. It's literally like the job of these journalists is not to present information truthfully, and that is not just an individual failing or like a company-based failing. It is a structural failing that is getting worse with time.
One day have democracy again. So that's hope. That's one sentiment. On the other sentiment,
Do they just have these people on call? Yes. This woman has probably appeared on CNN and other news sites, news stations, like hundreds of times. They're like, we're talking about Venezuela. Who do we call up on that? And then they look from the list of like approved people and they know, well, obviously we know which bias we want to have. So we're going to call in her. Yeah, 100%. A bunch of journalists have her in a Rolodex. Her job is to respond to their calls. That's it. As you know, she gets paid for it, not for the appearances, but for book sales. That's why all these people have books, you know? It would be really obvious that they were stooges if they got paid to appear on CNN and there would be a paper trail. So instead, they write their shitty books, they get to promote it on mainstream media, which guarantees some amount of income. That's their job. They have a parasitic life cycle, you know? They exist only to reaffirm bourgeois ideology when they are, trotted out for the media.
there is great concern about the fact that Delcy Rodriguez, who is not a nice woman, but is very, very intelligent. She's multilingual, fluent in English and French, and the chief negotiator. I have seen it firsthand. I haven't been fed this by the U.S. government or the Venezuelan opposition. I have been present during phone calls where people were negotiating with her to give Maduro money or to keep Maduro in power. So I am aware of that. And she will give a little dance to the Trump team who thinks...
So it sounds to me like her narrative here is that the Trump team didn't go far enough. Like we need to do even more regime change. That seems like the line she's taking here.
She will be their puppet, but she's nobody's puppet. However, that's one thing. I think they will get tired of being danced around by her, Rubio and Hegseth. And on the other hand, she faces a huge challenge because she's not a military, like Diosdado Cabello and Padrino Lopez, who's the two military, one's the head of the military and the other one is a military commander who's head of the party. They're very, very bad guys. And they will want to command whatever's left of military morale. They will want to command whatever.
Yeah, here we go. Sorry, I know I keep pausing, but I actually find what this woman's saying just as important as why she's saying it. Here, from the Wikipedia article. Newman has published articles in the Wall Street Journal, the Daily Beast, the London Sunday Times, the Guardian, the Daily Telegraph, the Weekly Standard, Standpoint, and many other publications. That's Wikipedia saying that. She appears regularly on CNN, CNNE, Fox Business, Al Jazeera, NTN 24, Globo TV, and other networks. A regular guest on Varney & Co. She was once introduced as a panelist by a State Department official. Her written work has been used by the American Enterprise Institute. So just, you know, just listing out the...
whatever's left of military morale to...
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I also really like this section right here where... in her life, ambassador to the UK, 2019, appointed by unsuccessful would-be President John Guaido as ambassador to the United Kingdom. Returned to the private sector. Well, that didn't work. Spent my whole life crowing about a coup attempt. Got to participate in one. Didn't work out. All right, back to the private sector. Yee. Returned to the helm of Asymmetrica. You took a shot at it. You miss every shot you don't take. Oh, how interesting. In a March 2022 interview with Finance Monthly, she discusses how biases and prejudices within the Western financial system pose challenges for existing markets and why she thinks advanced tech and AI, like Tintra is developing, the company or the bank that she's on the board of. Oh, sorry. Yeah, she's on the board of a bank too. Is key to creating efficiencies and promote development. Again, it's all it's their whole life. It's their whole fucking life. It's their whole life, man. From cradle to grave, their whole life is dedicated to evil. It's a fucking joke. And apparently she dated Mick Jagger. Okay. She's Epstein connected through Mick Jagger. She also married William Cash, son of Sir William Cash, a British conservative politician. So, make of that what you will.
To sideline her. So she may well be stabbed in the back by her own party.
So many good points that you make.
Then we're nowhere. Then we just have Diosdado Cabello and Padrino Lopez, who were really not much better than Maduro.
Yeah, look, so many good points you made. Let me start, first of all, we'll talk about Diosdado, the Interior and Defense Minister, in just a moment.
By the way, everyone in media is like this. So, like, when you're watching mainstream media or looking at people up in D.C., they're all like this. Their entire lives are just strings of connections to money and power. They don't have any real opinions. They don't have any real beliefs or hobbies. They're not real people, okay? They are a collection of special interests locked up in a flesh suit. Their job is to advocate for those interests day in and day out forever. That's it. That's all they are. There are so many ex-CIA officers hired as journalists for news companies. Yep, and you know why? It's not because they're particularly charismatic. It's not because they're good journalists. It's not because they're super handsome. It's because they're already used to being agents of the state. That's it. That's it. That's the only reason why. CIA agents are already familiar with the rules of the game, including like complicity with sensitive information and their obligations, responsibilities, and all of the fucking corporate ties you get in the CIA, man, right? Like from day one, the CIA has been a stooge for international finance, you know, Banana Republic shit, you know, Havana Company, all that nonsense. Were her parents in intelligence? I don't know. Were they? No, of course not, because she's Venezuelan American. So she was born in Caracas. Presumably her parents were good people who regretted later in life giving birth to a literal demon. To Miguel Newman and Antonia Danelli. Miguel Newman, son of entrepreneurs Hans and Meladia Newman, Jews who emigrated from Czechoslovakia to Venezuela in 1949. Wait. Oh my God. Were they like Soviet refugees or whatever? Were they no, not Nazis, guys. They're Jews. Don't be stupid. Are they like, were they fleeing the Soviet sphere of influence? That would be so fucking funny. Newman's grandfather, Hans Newman, co-founded Koreman, Corporation Industrial Montana, which had its IPO on the New York Stock Exchange on March 23rd, 1993. Oh my God. And Fundación Newman, a philanthropic foundation with the twin missions of cultural education, poverty alleviation programs. They also established the Instituto del Diseño Newman, which were co-founders of the Museum of Contemporary Art and the Institute of Estudios Superiores de Administración, which under the guidance of Harvard Business School professor Mikhail Porter taught American business administration. For a quarter century, Hans Newman was also the major shareholder of the Mistake Company, which owns the island of Mistake. He also owned 2 newspapers in Venezuela, the English language, the Daily Journal, and Tal Cual. Milan Newman was given the Order of Francisco de Miranda. Miguel Newman founded Intercomunica, which produced a television series interviewing political leaders around the world stage and a series of books of Venezuelan cinema. They also owned a winery. She's an author. Guys, listen, okay? She's an author and a business owner. And a mother. I can't. Her family was CIA before the CIA was even a fucking thing. It's just like she was like from the very beginning, you know, that she. His grandfather ran the corporation that owned a private island in the Grenadines. A PLC, which is in turn owned by the island's homeowners. 120 private villas, many of which are let through the Mistake Company. The company also owns a hotel and cafe on the island. We have to go deeper. What about her grandparents? Is evil like really truly hereditary? Is it should I be an essentialist? What the fuck? Money is, so yeah, that's true. Evil might not be hereditary, but money is. In 1976, due to financial problems, tenants sold a controlling interest to the Mistake Company to Venezuelan industrialists Hans Newman and Alberto Herrera. Alexandra did not retire until August 2008. Holy shit. I don't know, man. This shit's crazy. Survived the Holocaust by hiding in plain sight. Well, he was a Jew, and he was in Czechoslovakia, so presumably he just, like, lived his life and didn't say, like, Shabbat Shalom in front of any SS officers, right? And then he left. I wonder why he left. Well, my assumption, if he was an industrialist who fled to Venezuela after World War II, my guess is that he wanted to avoid Soviet control, right? Like, man must have come here with a lot of money. I'm sorry, this is just so fascinating to me. What about the 2 newspapers that he ran? Oh, that's nice. The Daily Journal, previously known for its editorial independence, then obtained a reputation for being a Chavista newspaper after it was bought in 2006. But then it went under. There you go. This one's listed as a leftist newspaper. In 2000? When did Mila Newman die? Or Miguel Newman? Huh. All right, sorry, I got like super distracted by like the legacy. Just the fact that she came from wealthy industrialists, you know? Oh, oh my fucking God. Newman worked for the Daily Journal. She worked for her fucking... her family newspaper. Then in corporate planning and finance at Venezuelan petrochemicals. She worked in petrochemicals too? Oh. That's not even your field. She was an academic reviewer for SOCOM, teaching text on counterinsurgency in Colombia. It's too much for one person. It's too much for what... Sorry, what do these words mean? She literally worked with American Southern Military Command in teaching text on counterinsurgency in Colombia. Like she was speaking with the Pentagon on how to best do coups in Colombia. Oh, you're right. Sorry, not Southcom, SOCOM, special operations, not Southcom, but you know, every expert on TV is like this. It's too much for one person to do.
But let me get your thoughts first off on Delcy Rodriguez. She's now the president, well, VP obviously, but she's been, you've seen the Supreme Court, she's now been handed over the reins, of course, of the country. We've had President Trump saying that she will do what we ask of her, almost painting a picture, Vanessa, that of her being slightly more pragmatic. What is your sense? Because what I heard from yesterday is, you know, we will never be a colony. We want Maduro back. Is this just lip service, or do you think that Chavismo is not dead?
Oof, I think.
What? Is this just lip service, or is Chavismo not dead? What? Of course she wants Maduro back. What is that? How would that be lip service? What do you? The president was just kidnapped. Of course she... What?
Chavismo, I think Chavismo is not dead. I think there are two different things, right? So there are... Chavismo, there are a few hardcore ideologues who've always been there, always will be there, right? Who really believe in Chavismo. And don't forget, this is a country like Cuba. I know you know this extremely well, where there's a whole lot of propaganda. People within Venezuela...
as opposed to the United States, where, as we can see right now, there's no state propaganda. Absolutely none. I'm not one of those lefties on Twitter who says America is the most propagandized country in the world, because they're not. There are other countries like North Korea, Turkmenistan, Russia. There are countries that have much more aggressive, like, state propaganda apparatuses. But in terms of, like, the sheer volume and how much it like consumes every moment of your life and every element of the shape of the Overton window, I think that America's really high up there. Really, really high up there. Because we presented like this, you know? it's not propaganda. We're just bringing a businesswoman and author on.
Unless you have a smartphone, really don't have a lot of access to reality. They get fed these lines. Second of all, I think they have to keep up this line for their own survival. On the other hand, there is the aspect of their own survival, right? They are all facing drug charges. Delcy Rodriguez has done, I think was it the New York Times, has done a PR job. Yeah, where she said, Delcy the moderate. And everybody in Venezuela was like, Delcy's not a moderate. She has been, remember what I said at the beginning, she's a negotiator and a PR person, and she's been handling her own PR. Clearly, for her to assume this position for months and positions herself as a moderate. She can't be too much of a moderate. It's the typical thing we've seen, you and I have seen in transitions in other countries. If she tries to be a moderate and go on bended knee to the Trump team, her own team will stab her in the back. And then we'll have to have a second wave of attacks on Venezuela, or the Trump team will stage a second wave, as they discussed last night. She's not going to go on bended knee. Venezuela, they will not make Venezuela a colony, and I think that this is going to be some very complicated days. Venezuelans cannot go out into the street to celebrate because A, they're confused, they don't know what comes next, and B, anybody who says, yay, they got Maduro, will be immediately captured and tortured.
Vanessa, so good to have you on.
It really seems like she just wants us to do a more thorough regime change. You know, she's probably not satisfied with this, which I guess makes sense because we nab Maduro, but everything else is the same. Well, I'm sorry, that got so fucking unhinged, but I can't, like, I don't know. Yeah, that guy, there's so much of that stuff, man. Anytime they pop someone on, especially when they bring on somebody to talk about a foreign country, because they know they can get away with more to an American audience when they're providing insight on another country, right? Like they couldn't do this anywhere near as easily if they wanted to have an expert on say like a farmer, like what a farmer's life is like or whatever. They'll have business moguls, people who lie on, but they can't have somebody whose entire, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will. I don't know. I'm just talking. My brain is mush. My brain is complete mush. Oh my God. Yeah, the reason you don't see Venezuelans out on the streets celebrating the fact that they've been bombed, their capital city has been bombed by America, is it's because they're afraid of retaliation from the regime, you know? No other reason. No other reason. Oh my God. Do Venezuelans support this as they're polling? There's not really any way to get reliable polling from Venezuelans on this, because what are they going to do? Like go door to door? I mean, it might be possible, but it would take some time, right? Go door to door in Venezuela and be like, do you like that your glorious leader just got kidnapped by the evil Satan country, United States? And then you have to go, yes, and hope they don't shoot you. Seen Endeavorance videos in Venezuela? No. But I believe you that they are good. I have simply not engaged with the YouTube content. My brain is fucking gone after that, dude. That shit's crazy. Jane CIA. I had no idea. I thought it would just be like, you know, well, I kind of figured she graduated from Columbia because all evil people do. But you know, yeah, she's an author. Her author's on like how to coup Maduro or whatever, her books on how to coup Maduro. I didn't expect her entire fucking life to be dedicated. Maduro will appear in court tomorrow. Yep. Hope we get a bomb-ass fit. Hope we get, like, the Luigi Mangione court fit, you know? Where he's wearing, like, the oversized prison uniform. He looks like hard as hell. He's huge, by the way. Maduro's, like, 6'4" or something, so... I hope he does a dance. Yeah, me too. Me too. Ugh. You seen the AI video of him DJing? No? Sources close to the White House told the Washington Post Trump lost interest in backing Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado to lead the country because she accepted her Nobel Peace Prize rather than demanding it be given to Trump, which was viewed as an ultimate sin. You know what? I actually think this is wrong. I think this is incorrect. I know that Trump is a massive diva, and I know this is consistent with his personality, but in this one instance, I don't think it's correct. I don't think it's plausible. You know why? Because he would have mentioned it. Seriously. I think that he would have said it. He would have been asked why he didn't back Maria Corina, and he would have said, Maria Corina, she's a loser. You know, they say I should have gotten the Nobel Prize. He would have. Well, I think he would have said that when he was asked about it the other day. But he didn't. I think merely dedicating the Nobel Prize to him was probably enough. I do, however, think it's funny that there are people close to Trump in the White House, or close to the White House, I suppose, who acknowledge that Trump is enough of a diva that they would assign this motivation. I'm fine with believing it's true. Yeah. Well, that's gonna activate my goddamn cough again. Mamdani held a press conference on the seizure of Maduro, which is extremely funny.
That we all endured to arrive at this day. As trucks and cars fly by at high speed, I am reminded of the words of the man who thought a 4-lane highway.
Wait, hold on. Is this the press conference on Maduro? Or no, he just made a statement. I don't know if this is the full... Yeah, I think he talked about it, but I think this is unrelated. Sorry, I got the wrong link. Yeah, he allegedly, right? Or I don't even think it's allegedly. Like, it's been confirmed by several sources, but Mamdani straight up called Trump to express his disapproval over the seizure of Maduro, and Trump picked up. He called his cell phone. Isn't that funny? Of course they're buddies. It's just especially because Trump must have known why Mamdani was calling, you know? Like, he knew he was getting criticism, and he picked it up anyway. I bet Trump doesn't pick up calls from Schumer. I bet Schumer doesn't call. What else do I have on my list here? Katie Wilson inauguration. Fuck! I don't think I can fucking focus on the Katie Wilson inauguration after that insane shit. The news cycle has like shoved this out of my brain, man. God damn it.
That we had elected as our next mayor, Katie Wilson.
Give me a minute of it at least.
Isn't a constant struggle.
City still has that you
We know that Mayor Wilson, Carrier.
There she is.
City of Seattle.
For the position of mayor of the city of Seattle.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of Washington.
The Constitution of the State of Washington.
And the Charter and ordinances of the City of Seattle.
And the Charter and ordinances of the City of Seattle.
And that I will faithfully conduct myself as mayor of the City of Seattle.
And that I will faithfully conduct myself as the mayor of the City of Seattle.
Yippee! Where's her Bible? Ah, that's cute.
Hey, your new mayor, Katie Wilson.
Ooh, boy, that audio.
Katie. Woo!
Oil, but they didn't.
Thanks, guys.
You'll get it, Katie.
Yeah, just a little bit higher, I guess. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I know you've all been standing for a long time. Just a little longer. So my team asked me if I wanted some help with my speech. And I said, you know, I understand that when I'm the mayor, I'm going to have some help writing speeches. But I feel like maybe this is my last time where I get to just say whatever I want. So y'all are getting an unvetted speech here.
She's gonna say it.
I can feel some waves of anxiety. It's gonna be okay. It is such a pleasure and an honor to be here with all of you today. I look out and I see so many people who have played a role in getting us to this place of promise and hope. I see friends and colleagues and family. I see people I've known for years, and others I just met this year, and many others who I don't yet know. I see people whose names are known and celebrated, and others whose work is quiet and behind the scenes, but no less important.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't do it right now. I'm still thinking about the fact that Jane CIA got pulled in as like author and mother, and also that every single fucking time Trump gets asked a question, his answer is, "We're going to invade Cuba for oil." I need to focus on this on a more quiet day. Is Vosh actually friends with her? With Katie Wilson? No, I'm not friends with Katie Wilson. Every time I've met her, she's been nice. Should have led with it. Yeah. That's just it's just how it is. It's just how it is. It's an energy thing, you know? It's an energy thing. Whew, boy. Oh, this is the part of the Mamdani
you, my brother.
where he was asked.
Talk to the Venezuelan New Yorkers who came here to flee the regime, and then secondly, are you concerned with Maduro being housed here at MDC?
There are tens of thousands of Venezuelans who call this city home. Their safety is critically important to me, as is the safety of each and every New Yorker. And my job is to deliver for them. And We are also going to be making clear that if they are in need of assistance at this time, how they can interact with city government so that we can meet those needs, both in the immediate and the medium term. And we are going to make certain that for New Yorkers, we limit any of the impact on their day-to-day life that will come as a consequence of the actions the federal government has taken.
Okay, 2 questions.
Let's do one after the other.
Quick. On Maduro, apparently he's going to be brought to New York City to face charges. Did you speak about that with the president? Is there anything that you plan to do or can do around his potential detention here in New York, or is that a federal issue that's out of your purview?
As the mayor of New York City, it is my responsibility to ensure that whatever the actions the federal government takes, that they have a minimal impact on the day-to-day lives of New Yorkers. And so that will be a focus of my administration.
There's not really anything he can actually do here, right? Like it's just like he's the mayor of the town Maduro's going to be held in. He's appearing in court tomorrow, but he doesn't really have any. Not his game. Good puff. I'm getting pitched segments by my partner. I'm not rewarding this behavior. You have to plant your feet down, you know? Otherwise, they start to think it's a collaborative stream, okay? People have made that mistake. They've made that mistake. Speaking of collaborative effort, River. My hands are cold. Warm them up. Isn't she cute? Such a round face. Back up. Oy, oy. Did Kat snag the sweater? Nah. Nice sweater, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, what else do I have in my tabs? Double RL? No, Polo Ralph Lauren, not double RL. All right. What the fuck is this? Oh, I saw an artifact of the past. Just randomly while I was on Twitter. Check this out.
Look here, this image is what is being shown on the United States Nintendo page for the game Dispatch, and this is what is being shown everywhere else. Now, let me point out the differences. This right here has been changed on the US store, so has this, covering up skin, and this right here has been covered up as well. Now, look again at the US version and you can see what I'm talking about.
It sounds like a parody.
Some Western feminists had a big problem with showing off all that female skin, but
it's like it's like straight from 2017. It's vintage. Remember when this was the game? I mean, when I started my channel, I would boot up stream and I'd be like, okay, we're going to find a video like this. And now it's like, oh my God, I'm being drafted to be sent to Cuba, you know?
let me refer you back to this chart here.
What's that voice? It's like, this is like the chud YouTuber voice affect of the past. This like overemphasized smug tone that sounds like it should be put over a rant sona. Like you're always talking down to like a feminist, basically, to a feminazi.
If this is your customer base, then why in the bloody hell would you even consider making sensorial...
And they're all British. Ah, and he actually has a Ransona. Is this him? He's the... I didn't watch this far. He's a mecha... He's a cool mecha guy?
decisions like this one that we saw.
Wait, hold on. I have to find the actual channel. Yes. Hold on. Yes, yes, yes. This will heal us from Jane CIA. Seriously, right? This is like the perfect anecdote. Anecdote? Antidote. Fuck, I'm tired. Oh, man. Dr. Disaster. Not a small channel, 183,000 subs. But how old is the channel, you know? Because this sounds like a person who's been in the game for a long time. Oldest video? Nah, only 4 years ago. That's not... It's younger than me. Could be he's out of time. Could be, though, this is not his first channel. You know? But my guess is that this is a second channel because it looks like he really hit the ground running. You know? Gina Carano Fallout, Gina Carano's Revenge, Star Wars is terrified of Gina Carano. Like it sound like this guy hit the ground running on the topics, or he just deleted all his old cringy shit. Well, clearly not all of it. This has taken me back. I love these. Oh my god. I love these slop thumbnails. Fuck, my cough. Ah! Gamers say hell no. Here is the shit show. This was all of YouTube for like 5 years, by the way. From, well, maybe not 5, more like 3. From 2017 to 2020, this was all of YouTube. This was the whole thing. Wow, I just want to watch this. Sony has developed an AI tool to censor games in real time. What the fuck is this crap? Absurd. Ghost of Yotai just won a... Does he have a real costume?
Why can't you give?
Disaster. And by now, it is probably very clear that I am not a fan of Sucker Punch and the way that they handled the sequel to the well-loved Ghost of Tsushima. As far as I'm concerned, after how they handled the controversy in
Where's
the
the dance?
Of the murder of Charlie Kirk, my...
So sorry, my bad. Big fan of Ghost of Tsushima, was not aware the studio orchestrated the assassination of Charlie Kirk. My bad. I'm unfollowing immediately.
Attitude toward them.
Wait, where was the dance though? Yes! It's a real costume! Let's go! Yes, yes, yes! This is probably not copyrighted music. We carry the flame. This is so good. They don't make them like this anymore, man.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the...
Okay. But I haven't played Ghost of Yotai, so I can't really comment on this. I have seen naked women before, so I can comment on the other on whatever this one is. Dispatch. I haven't played Dispatch. Cringe AF. Nintendo appears doomed by new modern audience presidents of the company. It's true, Matt. Nintendo has never been concerned by nudity and sexual content in their games before. This is a recent development.
What's up, Space Pirates? This is your Admiral, the endlessly edgy Dr. Disaster. And despite the fact that the Nintendo Switch 2 has sold...
My white ass is seated right now, okay?
Well, everyone has to admit that there was, earlier this year, a massive failure of communication between Nintendo and its customers with regards to this new console, where they sounded completely out of touch.
Is this some sort of peasant joke that I'm too rich to understand?
To illustrate my point, this is an article from earlier this year where they discuss the president of Nintendo of America, Doug Bowser, as saying that if you can't afford a Switch 2, then you can just buy a Switch 1. Basically,
that's
the
true.
idea is that if you're too broke to afford their new console, then either stop being broke or just buy one of their old consoles and shut the hell up.
If you're... I don't really know what else you're supposed to do with that one though, right? Like, consoles are often sold at a loss. The console itself is usually underpriced for the hardware it contains. The companies make the money back on the games you buy with their licenses and stuff. So, I don't really know what you're supposed to do with that. Like, the Switch 2 being 500, it's like, 500, man, that's like 1/2 of a 32 gig stick of RAM these days. It's not... look, it's a good console, I assume. I haven't bought it yet.
Or stop being poor.
Well, Doug Bowser is now stepping down from his role as president of
Nintendo has never sold their consoles at a loss. Is it just Microsoft and Sony that have done that then? Has Nintendo always been able to squeak out a profit? That's interesting. Okay, well.
Nintendo of America, and based on how the messaging of the company has been this past year, that's probably a good thing.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Please stop trying to get me copyright claimed.
The problem with this is that the person they are replacing Doug Bowser with is this woman here,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I see the problem. Oh, there we go. The conflict has been established.
Evan Pritchard. And look, I miss the days when Reggie ran things at Nintendo.
Me too.
And I would love to see the glory days of Nintendo restored, but there is a reason that we have seen news like this growing over the past few years with Nintendo of America. The censorship for games on Nintendo have been growing, and that is a function of the marketing department, which this woman
Hasn't Nintendo historically not had to do quite as much censoring on their games because they don't tend to license adult games? Like, Dispatch is pretty spicy, isn't it? I've seen some clips from Dispatch. Isn't it like the kind of game people make porn of? Just not like normally they don't have to do so much censorship because they don't even allow those games to be played on their console, you know?
She ran it. And keep in mind that yes, while Doug Bowser might have been the one to have said this shit here, he would have been coached by the marketing department as to what their message was supposed to be, meaning that it ultimately came from this person here.
What? The WQ, the woman question? When the previous guy said something I didn't like, it was because she was behind the scenes pulling the strings the entire time? Is that like is that how companies work? Yeah, for sure. The president, in interviews, when a president gives kind of like a gaffe answer to a question, it's because that info was fed to them by marketing. Yeah.
So, this move of hiring this person to become the new president of Nintendo of America really has me thinking.
Are you people fucking retarded?
Oh my god. All right. Come on, get to the TNA.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. A lot of people have told me that they have been unwillingly unsubscribed to the channel, so make sure that you are still subbed.
Would you guys be okay with me making 1/10 of every video I put out this?
Ever since I started mentioning this in my videos, I've had loads of people tell me that they found this had happened to them. If you've heard me say this before, well, this section of my videos will be skippable from now on by being turned into a chapter on the video timeline. But I do have to keep mentioning it because I don't know why this happens, but this crap does seem to happen an awful lot. In any case, let's talk about this move that Nintendo has made, bringing on this woman, Devin Pritchard, to replace Doug Bowser. For full context, we're going to start by looking at this survey here, which I have cited numerous times on this channel. This comes from late
Somebody in chat said this is made up, by the way, which I have to say I think is probably true. There is no way only 11% of the owners of a Nintendo Switch are women. That's crazy. Of a Nintendo console? I would have trouble believing that even for like an Xbox 360 or whatever, but a fucking Switch? No way. Yeah, not with Animal Crossing, New Horizons or whatever the fuck that was.
2024, and it is a survey that was conducted by Nintendo, sent out to a random selection of about 6. This was marketing research.
I forgot, like, a big element of these chud slop channels is that they are in fact chud slop, so they do tend to get boring once you get over the hype, the pomp and circumstance.
Audience, and yet we see news like this pop up. This came from a week and a half or so ago from the site Nintendo Life. It says here, when the Switch generation was in full swing, there were stories about games being censored in some way or form and even blocked from being published on the eShop. With this in mind, it seems fans of the superhero comedy Dispatch...
Wait, I thought the premise here was that this was a new development because a woman was in charge of the company or whatever. When the Switch generation was in full swing, that started like a decade ago, or whenever the fuck the first Switch... When did the first... Wasn't it like 2017 or something, the first Switch? 2017, yeah.
Spotted a potential cover-up on Nintendo's digital storefront in the US. The banner for the Dispatch Art and Comics Pack DLC is showing much less skin compared to the listings in other locations. And now, look here. This image is what is being shown on the United States Nintendo page for the game Dispatch.
They're all pretty hot,
and this is what is being shown everywhere else. Now, let me point out...
They censored her damn pussy bones.
Differences. This right here has been changed on the US store, so has this, covering up skin, and this right here has been covered up as well. Now, look again at the US version and you can see...
Oh, I didn't even notice those ones. Yeah, it's like one of those what are they called? Spot the differences games. So okay, hold on. So they made this guy's cutoff shorts fuller, and they put like shorts on this girl instead of just her panties, and they filled in the tit window here and the tit window here, and they gave... Fuck you. And they gave her shorts. That looks like ass, actually. Look at that. I mean, okay, it does look like ass. I mean, like, it looks bad. This, like, yellow banana right here. They took away Flambe's pubes, man. They did! What the fuck? He had pubes in the original one. You can see his bush. They hid it. That's fucked up. Nintendo? Nintendo. You got something to answer for. I bet this is because they let women work at the company.
What is being shown on the United States Nintendo page had a big problem.
Yeah, he's hooking me in.
Showing off all that female skin, but let me refer you back to this chart.
Wait, not just female skin, dog. They censored the men too. The pubes. The pubes.
Problem with showing off all that female skin, but let me refer you back to this chart here. If this is your customer base, then why in the bloody hell would you even consider making sensorial decisions like this one that we saw for Dispatch? Why would you do that? And it isn't just
I looked the chart up, it's 50% female owners. I have no idea why you would want to pretend that lots of women don't play the Switch. I just don't get the obsession with gatekeeping women out of your hobbies. Wouldn't you, like, want to spend time with women who like your hobbies? I don't get... Like, do you only want a girlfriend who reluctantly watches you play games on the couch? Or like, she's just sitting there and you're like, yeah, this is what this does. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not like playing dumb or whatever. I legitimately don't understand why you wouldn't be. Like, it would be one thing if you were gay, because then when women enter into the hobby, you're like, fuck, now there's less cock or whatever. I guess nowadays the women all have cocks too. I don't know. You understand what I mean. But if you're a straight guy, the fact that you could meet women in your hobby, I don't get it. So yeah, stay woke.
That has had this issue.
This guy's never met a woman. He's literally a fucking space pirate commander. You really think this guy doesn't get bitches? You need to stay in your lane.
Had countless stories just like this, as the article said. Now, on the one hand, you could argue that Nintendo is a family-oriented company which makes games like Mario and Kirby, and they want to maintain this air of being a family company. But on the other hand, if that was their position, then why is it that someone in Japan or Australia or whatever could see this image here? Why is that okay over there?
My honest to God, I think the reason for this might be that there's a different perception of Nintendo as a family company in America than there is in Japan. Like, for one, in America, we have more of a moral panic over nudity. Especially right now while the conservatives are in charge. Like, there are way more people, like, okay, I've been to Japan. Even in the like less touristy areas, there were titted up like action figurines and posters and whatever the fuck, like all over the place. I'm not going to say it's part of the national culture. I think that might be an overstatement, but it's definitely fairly normalized. Whereas I could see this being pretty spicy by the standards of something that you would get in like a GameStop, right? Like if you went to a GameStop, you might see cleavage and stuff, but you probably wouldn't see a guy's pubes. So it might just be America being more prudish about nudity, which is funny because they have the porn censorship law and we don't, but you know, it's complicated. I'm just pitching a guess here, you know?
If the idea is that Nintendo...
This motherfucker has not seen the eShop, there's so much hentai. Yeah, but that's the eShop. But Dispatch is getting a box release in stores. So that, I think, might be it. Keep in mind right now, we're living in a political environment where white women with demonic faces will take videos of them marching into Target, finding a t-shirt with a rainbow flag on it, and going, why are they selling this demon shit to our kids? So, like, yeah, I could understand them maybe bringing it down a little bit, like oh, I brought little Timmy over to GameStop so we could buy FIFA 2026 or whatever. Why? And there's like a guy's pubes out or something. Like I don't think it's because a woman works at Nintendo. I just don't think that's the reason.
Wants to maintain the image of being a wholesome family company, then they would want to censor this universally. Quite clearly, this was done by the marketing department at Nintendo of America specifically after they decided that it's culturally unacceptable to show the swimsuits from these images to people in the US. As Madam
the funniest thing too is that oh my god, Grums, it's fucking Grums. It's the breast milk guy. The weird thing too, the weird thing about this also is that, like, normally this discourse about localization censorship is done in the context of Western companies censoring stuff that Japan is okay with, like their own games. Usually lolicon stuff, right? Like Asmongold did that bit where he was like, Western feminists censored this game, and the censorship in question was like hiding the pussy bones on a kid demon hunter thing in a game that got released in Japan where they didn't censor it over there, which, like, I don't know. To me, this is a skill issue thing. I'm okay with them doing that kind of censorship. However, Dispatch is not a Japanese game, right? Am I wrong on that? My understanding is that Dispatch is not a Japanese game. Or am I wrong? You are correct? Okay, then what are we even talking about? Nintendo America is censoring Japanese culture. They're dooming themselves to a modern audience that demands everything be localized. The localization in question, where was Dispatch made? Developed and published by Ad Hoc Studio, which is American. Well, then what the fuck? What? Yeah, they're localizing American culture? Okay.
Over on X wrote in response to the news that this Pritchard woman is taking over for Doug Bowser, she said, marketing.
Man, I hate women.
U.S. department with the most redundancy. These lot are the ones lying to Japanese offices on marketing research. It's going to get worse, and Nintendo is going to scratch its head on why. I mean, you have to think
oh
that
my
if
God.
these numbers here are representative at all for the customer base of Nintendo, then there is no way in hell that they should ever have decided to add the following crap to the latest Metroid Prime game.
Oh, wait, what? Okay, I hear the latest Metroid Prime game fucking sucks, by the way, so I'm not going to defend it. I don't know what this is on.
Wow. What a mess. You're alone on a planet. No hope of survival.
We fire lasers out of our arm cannon? I guess we just do that now.
But you're also not sitting next to Phil anymore in that cute...
Focus M is doubly funny in the context of somebody talking to Samus. That's really fucking funny.
So... win?
I don't know who needs to hear this.
Focus,
but
Metroid.
Guys, males, we don't like that kind of thing in our games. That is shit for Redditors, for feminists.
Imagine being this guy and talking down to Redditors. That's crazy. That's insane. Holy shit. This man's mind is a house of mirrors. He's fucking... Fuck.
And progressive shitlords. And if the marketing department at Nintendo were reporting accurately, not just talking about their wish list of who they want to be their customers, but actually reported on who is buying their games, buying their consoles, playing their titles, then we wouldn't have to deal with stuff like this. The thing is, with a brand like Nintendo, they are so...
You weren't kidding about the Chud Slop part? Dude, this was like all of YouTube. It was the no bullshit era. Like, there were hundreds of, like, the most relevant conservative channels were largely, like, gaming adjacent, like, post-Gamergate fascist YouTube channels that still almost exclusively talked about Hollywood or the game industry, and they put out 50 videos a day, and all of them were the same. Do you prefer this alt-right or today's alt-right? Damn, these videos were a lot more funny than just watching the President of the United States rape my country to death, I guess. A little bit more... Oh, man. It's still pretty repetitive. Can we... I wasn't going to be on that late. Can we, like, look at a little bit of one more, please? This is so therapeutic for me. I feel like I'm... Okay, hold on. Netflix's Tomb Raider was modern audience self-insert. The shitlibs... What do the shitlibs do? Melt down over its rejection. Gotcha. Okay, it has to be about something I know about. I didn't watch Stranger Things, and I'm not paying attention to Ubisoft because I play real games. A tool to censor the pussy bones. I like that he has the timing on his videos down so that whenever you mouse over them, it jumps ahead to the point where he starts dancing. It's the same point in every video, so you can't actually look ahead on the video. It always just goes straight to the dancing. Do we want to do the AI one just because I want to look at the titties? Are there more titties? These thumbnails are so fucking cursed, man. Hmm.
What's up, space pirates?
What's up?
This is your admiral, the reasonably ruthless Dr. Disaster. And the level of censorship that we have seen in video games over the past year has been utterly ridiculous. The financial companies like Visa and PayPal have been pissing in our faces.
What is that? Is that piss? Is that piss?
You may recall that they essentially bullied Steam into changing their terms of service so as to follow their guidelines.
Yeah, that was pretty. I agree with him on this. That was like really fucked. Yeah. Payment processors should not be bullying, you know, content like hosting platforms into censoring nudity or sexual content or whatever. Their job is to facilitate payments. That was actually like super bad. Vosh just gonna agree with this video. Look, I'm not just, I mean, if I agree with the point, like that was really, really bad. It's just worth keeping in mind that like that was done by conservatives. Like it was a conservative social group in Australia that kind of fronted the push for this. So I mean, if you're anti like it was not the feminists doing this. Well, they did call themselves feminists, but they're the swerf kind of feminists. So if you're anti-swerf, I mean, you know, whatever.
Disallowing adult-oriented content.
Holy fuck. Stellar Blade is Korea, right? It's Korean?
Their guidelines. Disallowing adult...
Dude, the fact that they make women look like this is insane. This, like, gee, no wonder they have the lowest birth rate of any country on earth. It's one thing to make the women all titted up. That's great, whatever, you know, just like every fucking Korean, whenever they make a woman. Remember that from the Game Awards? We saw that one game from the Game Awards, and the guy was really hot, and the woman looked like this weird twee cursed doll, you know? And then her face melted. Wasn't that Chinese? Maybe.
Oriented content on Valve's platform, even if it is properly marked as adult content, and even if there are guardrails in place to prevent non-adults from accessing such games. This was always ludicrous, considering that these same payment processors still work openly with adult websites like OnlyFans. This is definitely a case of these people trying to curate what gamers have access to for reasons that I can only assume are malevolent. And
I mean, that's true. That's true. That's true. I agree with that. I think that's true. Vosh, it's Chinese. I apologize for my East Asian racism.
Honestly, at this point, the feeling is mutual with these guys.
Hey.
Got him. Hey, stop.
Right back at you, bitch.
Stop.
Well, the censorship that we see now is nothing compared to the possibilities that the future holds. We've discussed AI a few times recently, and I am of the opinion that it is a useful tool that will help people become more efficient in all kinds of jobs. Now, This isn't me suggesting that people should settle for the sort of AI...
Of course he's pro-AI. Dog, have you seen his thumbnails?
Slop that we see on social media or anything like that, but let's just be real. There is no putting this genie back in the bottle. AI is not going anywhere, and I have no problem with studios using it to speed up the process of developing games.
4chan's heavily pro-AI. This is in line with him being V-coded. This is really embarrassing for 4chan, man. If that's the colony that this space commander got sent from, that's really embarrassing for them. But it's true. I mean, Chuds like AI. Chuds love AI because they hate art. They hate artists. Because every time an artist talks, they're like woke or whatever, you know?
If I did have a problem with that, I would be hypocritical, since I use AI to speed up my own research all the time. But
that's why these videos are the way they are.
There are certain things that this technology can do which I will absolutely not support.
Big credit, by the way. I have never seen gameplay of Stellar Blade. I've only seen people post goon gifs on Twitter saying this is what real games look like for real men. I've never actually seen someone like fight an enemy in it. I've never seen it, and the game's been out for years. This is completely new to me. So like if he actually played Stellar Blade and didn't just jerk off to gifts of it or whatever, it's interesting, you know?
And that is a furtherance of the censorship.
What the fuck? You're shooting her.
But unfortunately, that appears
the fuck?
to be
She's hitting you.
where all of this is going, with AI dictating what we can and cannot see.
Stop
is irrelevant.
trying to get me copyrighted, man.
a machine. Yeah, it looks like
Also,
Sony
spoilers
is diving
for Terminator or Terminator 2 or whatever. I was mostly focused on scrolling up.
headfirst into the ability to censor games and even players. They are developing a technology that allows AI to alter what a player would see or hear in real time while playing a game.
You're not even addressing his points. What are you doing to us? I am addressing his points. So far, I've agreed with everything that he said. That's me addressing them. Well, I'm not gonna. Well, you think I'm gonna like disagree with him for the love of the game? I agree with what he's saying here. It's bad.
Of course, the way that this is being packaged is about as predictable as it comes.
Oh my god.
Somebody please
It's buffering the fucking
But
video
ultimately,
so
with
much.
everything that we have seen over the past few years with regards to how these large companies have been targeting gamers with censorship, we already 1,000 of you space show Starblade, which will attempt to blur out things that they don't want you to see in real time. This article here from the Gaming Bible discusses it, telling us about the potential usage of this tech. Sony has been busy over recent months by implementing a series of changes aimed at both making the PlayStation 5 better as well as testing the waters for the PlayStation 6. With gaming technology forever evolving, the major companies have to keep up with the demand, and with AI being more and more popular, despite criticism over the use of generative AI, Sony has patented an AI censorship tool. Aimed at the PS5 and PS6, documents add that the technology is also going to be a focus for other rival consoles.
You talk real slow, man.
That the language in this article from this game journalist guy actually comes off as pretty positive. There is a positive spin being put on this, because if there is anything that game journalists like to see in gaming, it is the idea that a game, or even gamers themselves, could be censored. They will cry and moan and scream in studios, comes out in an interview and simply discusses using AI to speed up the art process. In fact, or even
Oh my god, the
positive
the rest of the video really is. Oh, what are these? Ovary lights? Where were those? Where were those? What the fuck? I lost them. I lost them. Where'd the ovary lights go?
As threaten them, as long as AI this done, which was generative AI and Sony.
Did I hallucinate them?
Is come after that game a rated a ben out of sh or even not the language in this anything some things to speed up a any nope but just be arc reviews are people's and thuds. Let's first
what the fuck did I
include in sensitive content. You will
You're going crazy? Wait, am I really?
Fashion, but no. Then they will talk about it in a neutral or even positive fashion.
That's fucking crazy. Holy shit. That's that's fucking wild. Oh my god. Yeah, this is how many eggs she has left. You know, that as she gets older, the lights dim a little bit, they go down. That rules. I'm sorry, I'm not going to top this. I'm not going to top this. Oh, man. Oh. Fashion opinion on this? I can't really speak on this one, but I think the where was it? The flight jacket was kind of a good fit. Hold on. Not the flight jacket, the field jacket. That's kind of cute. As is often the case with the slutty girl dress-up games, the prettiest outfits are usually the one that show the least skin, because once the designers gave up on it being just like another looking glass for which to see the same pubic bones and titties, they actually put a little more effort into making it look nice even without those being visible. So this dress is probably the cutest thing she wears that I saw, in my opinion. That's pretty cute too. Pro titty censorship now, lol. I mean, it's not censorship, it's just like games like Stellar Blade are pretty fucking sexless, you know? I don't know how you can look at this and be turned on. Oh, well, maybe that. Stuff like this. Yeah, the rocks are pretty, though. I don't mind it. That's good to know. This to me, it is nothing to do with like prudishness. It's just, it's ridiculous. It's like a comedy outfit, you know? If you're into like the comedy sex thing, that's cool, I guess, but it's not porn, it's a video game. So it's not even like, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, we're not topping the ovary LEDs. So it's really weird. He obviously doesn't have a problem with AI, but he takes issue with AI censorship tool just for consoles and child safe mode. Okay, the uncharitable thing to do would be to say he wants to see like the little girls, but I don't think that's fair because the girls in Stellar Blade are all like very adult proportions. I think that's a bit uncharitable. I think it's more like, okay, I don't want to be too mean to this guy. I don't know why I don't, but I don't. I should, because he's clearly like a terrible person, but I don't want to be that mean to him. This guy doesn't seem that bright, so I'm guessing that, okay, a lot of this is just grift, but also I'm guessing he doesn't really see the relationship between AI as a tool and AI as a mechanism for slop production and censorship. Like he doesn't understand that the tool that allows him to make this fake woke Princess Peach thumbnail, this is the same kind of disinformation that he's enabling or like I guess denouncing in the AI censorship stuff, right? Like both of these are tools fundamentally for rewriting reality, you know, for altering reality and removing human creative input. And that's where the root of it comes. You know, it's really difficult to separate those at the root. If you're okay with, like right here, modifying the face of a game character to be uglier than she actually is, so that you can make a point about woke game devs making women ugly, unlike over here or like how they would in Korea or whatever, you're participating in the same kind of removal of agency and truthfulness that you would get in like an AI censorship tool. Oh my god, the video essay I link covers this too. When can we get Vosh reacts to good content instead of curse content? Gotta grip fast. You were the person who didn't like the fact that I was covering this video. Are you new here? No, you're not. Why on earth would I ever, why would I ever watch like a good video essay that responsibly and coherently addresses a topic? That's my job. Like, we're on my channel. If I'm watching another video and they're doing the work, then I just sit here and agree with it. Like, I'm agreeing with this guy conditionally because it sets me up for a contrast. Like, why wouldn't you just watch that video? Do you just want me to agree with you and be like, what a good video. You're a very smart boy. You know? But you covered this topic so many times. No, I haven't. Watching ancient vintage chud videos? I haven't gone over stuff like this in years. This is like an actual fucking, like, I'm getting like whiplash. I'm going back in time. It used to be pretty frequent. I would be happy to go back to this channel, by the way. This to me is, this reminds me of that. Who was that one conspiracy science channel with the little blue cartoon guys? something science, spirit science. I watched one video of his, and for 2 years afterwards, you people would not shut the fuck up about it. My problem was that, like, for me, one video from that guy was the same as all the videos from that guy. You know, like, it was the same thing always, which is to an extent true here as well. You know, this is my, like, return with a V. Ugly slop. High Guard was made for the modern audience. Man, he really hates the modern audience. Bro is unk. Shitlibs want us to hate Claire Obscure Expedition 33 due to its gay actor, but chuds don't care? Oh, we're coming back to this channel. We're coming back to this channel. This is fascinating. What? Libs want us to hate Claire Obscure due to its gay actor. Chuds don't care? This is we are coming back here. He's pro-LGBT. Yes, I think he is, because this is the original. The first wave of post-Gamergate chuds were pro-LGBT. They were the skeptics, centrists, and what was their term? Classical liberals who were progressive and pro-LGBT, but thought like the activist gays were annoying and the feminists were counterproductive. They were more libertarian coded. Almost all of them turned into fascists, if they weren't already, you know? This is wild. But he was talking shit in progressives because his definition of a progressive is an annoying, whiny, censorious, activist progressive. Like in his heart and mind, like in SJW, yeah, but in his heart and mind, right? He's a progressive because he likes women and gay people and stuff like that. Probably not trans people, you know? $40K Boltcon 2 casts Alana Pierce as VA, but sorry shitlibs, we still don't hate Sisters of Battle. What? What do you mean? What? He seems to be generally horny? Yeah, I mean, same. Dude, my standards are so fucking low now. This guy's making like this kind of content, but all of the sexualized women in the thumbnails are unambiguously adults, and I'm like, wow, what a high watermark, you know? I like unironically, no, that's like normal nowadays. Like all the chud channels talking about anime censorship or whatever are like fucking 12-year-old girl model VTubers. Like that one guy. You know exactly who I'm thinking of right now. You all know that one. I don't remember his name. Rev, I think. I don't want to say the wrong guy because I'm like I'd be like deeply insulting the person if I say the wrong guy. Is it Rev? Yeah, Rev says this. Yeah, that sounds right. Shitlibs want us to hate Warhammer Boltgun 2, but chuds love the Sisters of Battle in 40K. This is awesome. This is so good. Boltgun kicks ass. I feel like it didn't do enough with its concept. I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually am not a big fan of Boltgun because I think it wasn't innovative enough as a boomer shooter, you know? Please watch the Sisters of Battle one. I'm so curious. Can we come back to it? If your biggest complaint is that you wanted more of it, then it was good. No, I didn't want more of it. I was bored by the end. They didn't do enough with it. Not there wasn't enough of it. You know? Please do more of this? Yeah, I think I will. I kind of like this guy. I don't know. Also, can we be real here? All right? What? And this is fucked up. Why are the Sisters of Battle the horny faction in 40K when it should be Slaanesh? So the cultists of Slaanesh warp themselves, no pun intended, to appeal to the in addition to other emotions, lustful tendencies of the people they're trying to, they're like infiltrators, right? So why are there, every time they show any Slanesh creature, okay, I understand that in 40k tabletop, the Slanesh demons you fight are going to be fucked up monstrosities. But if you encountered a cult of Slanesh, they should all be really hot, right? Like, how are you working in a cult to bring in new humans if, like, the first thing they see is a fucked up ball with 8 titties on it or something? Like, the opening line with Slanesh should be like crazy hot baddies. They should be like succubuses and stuff. And then later on, you get the crazy bad stuff. Sisters of Battle sexualized? Yeah, in the fan, yeah, everyone sexualizes them because they're like battle nuns, you know? Also, by the way, I'm not into Sisters of Battle because I think that they should be scarier. I think it's dumb. For one, the whole Space Marines can only be guys thing is dumb. Okay? They've got 40 extra organs. You're really telling me that the fucking gene seed of the Primarchs is sex specific? Like, you can alter a human being into a Space Marine, but only if they're XY and not XX? That's insane. Like, okay, I understand that this is not justifiable in like any reasonable. This is a universe where magic exists. I'm not like, come on. It's because the Emperor is a chud. That's fine. If it's just because the Emperor is a chud, that's totally fine. You can play into that, you know? But it pisses me off when people are like, scientifically, you know, there's no way you could make a woman into a Space Marine. Come on. Who are you? You don't believe that. You don't believe that even, okay? Come on. That's one. For two, the Sisters of Battle are not Space Marines, but they are genetically modified, right? They should be scarier. The Sisters of Battle, even in the canon art, they look like pretty battle nuns. They should also be like tall, statuesque, steely face, scary looking monstrosities. Okay? Like that, like, come on. We in the real world, we have regular ass female soldiers and they look steely and fucking serious and stuff, okay? Were you there for the community's reaction to female custodies? Not only was I there for it, there are videos on it. No, sisters aren't modified, just humans with power armor. Don't they have some modifications? I know they don't have the gene seed. I thought they had some like basic steroids. No? Okay, my bad. Well, I still think they should look scarier, so my pee-pee can get hard. Like, the thing that I see looking at this thumbnail of a Sister of Battle right here is like, this looks ridiculous. Can't you make her hot, but also have her in real power armor? Like, it's AI. No, but I'm not talking about AI. There's tons of real art of them looking like this, okay? Okay, like, here's good Sister of Battle art, kind of. But again, it's like, does she need the titty plates? For me, this is really, but it's titty plates, but she's also wearing like a corset. For me, it'd be like, just fix that and this is hotter. Because now it looks like she's an S&M fetish cosplay. But if you fix it, then you've got a cool female soldier. She looks great, you know? She looks great. Isn't their armor still power? Yeah, no, their armor's still power armor. Humans can have power armor, just not like Astartes armor. That's a whole other thing. There's so much good Sister of Battle art. Like, look, listen, I'm not saying they're not hot, okay? I'm not saying elbows too pointy, 2 out of 10, all right? If a woman like this approached me in a bar in this armor, I guess it's like a cosplay, you know, like we're at a convention or something, I would just pass out and like cream my pants, right? I'm not going to pretend. I'm not here to lie to you, all right? All I'm saying is that in the canon of the you know, in the canon of the universe, I think it'd be cooler if they dropped the S&M bit a little bit. I know that they're nuns, and I know that we also fetishize nuns, but nuns in real life look like they're wearing burqas. Have you seen a real nun? Like in real life. I'm being silly, you know. I just the armor has to look like real armor. That to me is a hard line, okay? Otherwise, I think it looks dumb. So this does not look like armor. it looks like silly sex cosplay. I'm not into that. This does look like armor, even if it looks like, you know, kind of fetishy armor, right? But that's cool. You know, whatever. Sometimes they really do. They do too much. I mean, like this is a Darktide character. This looks good. This looks great. I don't think this is a Sister of Battle. Maybe it is. I don't know. It might be. I'm just a guy. You know that? You know I'm just a guy? She is? Okay, cool. Yeah, she looks really cool. Art of a Mother Superior. Yeah, see, to me, this just looks like fetish gear. It's two breast prominent. You can accentuate like feminine characteristics about a person's feet, like physique with armor, but this to me would be like seeing a Space Marine with a codpiece. Like, I can tell the Space Marines are men. Look at them, like look at their proportions. They have masculine proportions through the armor, but you don't need to give them a codpiece. Right? To show off. The Sister Codex is pretty grimdark. Yeah, of course it is. It's fucking 40K. You mean the art? I mean, they look great, okay? They look great. They look great. The fucked up thing, though, is that I bet you, I could be wrong, but I bet you that Dr. Despair, our favorite space captain, whose content we just enjoyed so thoroughly, I bet you that he would say this is woke. Because this one's got the tattoos and the piercings and the short hair, as though humans don't look like that in general. You know that in 40K in the Imperium, everyone looks like this? You can tell who's a fucking tourist when they're like, here's the Imperium. They're like neo-Nazis, so they're great. Here they are. They're all like beautiful Aryan Ubermensches. When you take a look at like any canon source on what the fucking Imperium officials look like, and they all look like these diseased, inbred machine implants, weird shit everywhere. The humans are fucked up looking. By the standards of the Imperium humans, this lady looks extremely normal. Yes. Well. Holy shit, I'm going back in time to 2017 Chudland. Okay, guys, I made a mistake. I streamed for too long, and I can tell that my beautiful partner is getting irritated with me because I said that I would hang out with them after, but I think they thought that meant like a while ago. So that's on me. I should be here tomorrow. Everyone take care. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for the wonderful double stream. And I'll see you guys soon. Oh, and I'll read donuts tomorrow. I'm sorry. I'll read donuts tomorrow.